Tid Wheezy hella yeah roll. What are you doing, man, with this fucking account? It's an old account, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Buddy, what are you talking about? BLM is racist. Antifa and BLM must be challenged. Kyle is a hero for standing up. What are you on about, man? Why are you being weird? Why are you being weird? What are you doing? Who hurt you? Who hurt you, man? How is BLM and Antifa such a big threat, man? Who hurt you, man?
Seconds, because he was unarmed. Joseph was unarmed. So I feel like it's justified to pull the gun or the AR-15 and kind of see like, okay, is he going to continue running towards me or not? Because he did not have any lethal weapons on him at that point. That's my only...
If this is her first panel, should she get a break? Everyone has to start somewhere. There are some panels where you should get a break if you're not throwing out insults that people are dumb fucks for not knowing about a topic. If you come into your first panel steaming hot saying that everybody's a dumb fuck, that you as a man can't be doing this to me and shit like this, you're coming in hot. You're gonna get hot shit back. That's the way that it's gonna work. Period. Now, if you come into your first panel, you know, like Lumiru or some shit, then like, hey, listen, you're gonna get, you're gonna get the soft shit. Ban me for having a different viewpoint? Come on, nobody's here to ban you for having a different viewpoint, but we will Discord or ban you now. Tide Wheezy, I don't know how to pronounce your name. All right. You have 2 minutes to get inside of a Discord and explain why Antifa and BLM must be stopped. All right. And why Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero. All right. You got 2 minutes to get inside of a Discord. In the event you do not want to get in Discord, you have to stop talking about Kyle Rittenhouse or leave my stream and stop talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, and then you can come back later. If you come back later and then talk about Kyle Rittenhouse, you'll be asked to get inside of Discord, and if a failure to get inside of Discord will result in a ban. If you intend on leaving the stream or stopping your chatter about Kyle Rittenhouse, you must inform me. You cannot use your silence as a indication that you choose to no longer talk about Kyle Rittenhouse. You must, in the chat, tell me that you do not want to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse again, or that you want to leave the stream. Those are your options. All right. I joined the Discord. All right. You have to get inside a voice for me. You got to get inside of a voice channel for me.
That's my only take. That's all I'm saying.
Can I ask one question? Do you think it would change? Would it change your mind if Rosenbaum had gotten close enough to grab his gun? Would that have changed your mind on that?
Wait, what is your name? Oh, you just changed your name on Twitter or on Discord. Interesting. Okay. Hello? All right. What's up? Why is Kyle Rittenhouse a hero? Hello? Wait, why? Yeah, I want to hear why Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero. Can you hear me? Yeah? Why is Kyle Rittenhouse a hero?
Hero is he's out there helping people when he really didn't need to be.
What? I mean, couldn't you say the same thing about like BLM protesters and shit?
I mean, I don't have an issue with all BML protesters, but if you use it as an excuse to just go destroy property and steal shit, then yeah, I got a problem with that.
Well, everyone should have a problem with people using any cause as an excuse to destroy property. But that's not what all BLM protesters or even all of Antifa do. All of the visible members of Antifa do. I'll give you that. There hasn't been a time where you have an Antifa accountant that you see just normally sitting there, not really doing anything.
I agree with that.
Okay, so if that's the case, what's your issue with Antifa and BLM? Why must they be challenged, and Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero for challenging them?
Well, because they're out there destroying the community for really no reason at all.
If I say that conservatives are out here destroying our way of life because there's some conservatives that plant bombs or try and commit mass shootings, would you say that then I can say that conservatives must be stopped?
I didn't lump them all into one category. And yeah, if you go plant bombs, you should be challenged too,
Sure.
regardless of your
So
political affiliation.
what you said was BLM and Antifa must be challenged.
Yeah, what I more meant was the BLM and Antifa that night who were destroying shit.
Okay. So
I guess I should have clarified.
Yeah, and what makes him a hero for just being in a situation where he might commit an act of self-defense? What makes him a hero?
Because he was out there in obviously a scary situation, mega outnumbered, and he was doing the right thing. And I feel like more people should have been out there backing him up. And
What do you think? What do you think he was doing that was the right thing?
Protecting businesses. He was giving medical aid. He was putting out fires.
Yeah, and you think that makes him a hero just because he's done that?
To be a 17-year-old kid, to be out there with all those crazy people doing that shit, yeah, I think that makes you very brave, and I think it makes you a hero.
Well, many would argue that if you're 17 and you do that is probably don't want to encourage 17-year-olds to do this because...
I mean, why not? We sent 17-year-olds off in World War II to fight against the Nazis.
Yeah, and it wasn't a good idea. We probably should have had older people do it.
It had to be done. They were heroes, too, for doing that.
Yeah, I think fighting a war is probably different than defending somebody else's property willingly. Like getting drafted into a war is probably different, no?
That's how shit like this starts, though. It doesn't just escalate into war immediately.
What do you mean? How does shit like this... Are you saying that like this is going to escalate into a war?
It could. Like before the Civil War happened, shit like this was happening before it. It just doesn't become a civil war instantly overnight. It takes years and years and years of buildup, and we're definitely headed towards that direction. I don't know if we're going to get that far, but look how divided the country is right now.
I don't think the country is as divided as people meme about it being. People might think that there's like civil war bullshit like that that's gonna happen. I don't see a reason why it would. I literally don't. Now there's some people that are
forcing people to take shots and do shit like that, then yeah, if they start forcing people's kids to take shots, you'll see more and more issues like this escalate.
Okay, so you're comparing this to the Civil War. You realize why we fought the first Civil War, right?
Well, we fought the first Civil War to hold the Union together. They teach you it was all about ending slavery, but Lincoln didn't even say it was about ending slavery until after he had all of the North behind him under the cause of keeping the Union together, because he was scared that if he said it was just about ending slavery, all the people in the North wouldn't actually rally behind the cause.
That's usually how it works, as a multifaceted argument against something. He found it necessary to make slavery a large part of it because there was a lot of people that thought that that was necessary going into the future. But of course, that not everybody thought that way. And so they needed more than just that. So you're comparing like literally fighting over slavery to like getting a vaccine. And like whether or not there will be a like civil war over getting a vaccine. Wouldn't that be, aren't these two like massively different magnitudes of like
why? No, they are. I wasn't comparing them straight up. I'm saying this is one of the steps that leads towards that direction. Like
is the vaccine?
Yeah, like the Tea Party event was a major event before the Revolutionary War. This would be something like that. Like forcing kids that are...
The Tea Party event has to do with like fucking massive business
taxes.
Overreach and shit like that. Yeah, and taxes and shit. Like that's that's not a vaccine. It's a domino.
They're comparable. They're both dominoes in the process.
What if I said giving conservatives like Trump a platform is a domino effect?
A domino effect towards what?
And towards fascism.
What makes Trump a fascist?
No, a domino effect towards fascism. I'm not saying that he's fascist. What I'm saying is it's a domino effect towards fascism.
What would giving Trump a platform be towards a domino towards fascism? I don't understand.
Well, we've seen white supremacist attacks rise in the past 10 years in America. There's no coincidence that also that Donald Trump specifically got into office at a similar time.
What white supremacist attacks?
White supremacist, politically motivated white supremacist attacks.
Yeah, name one specifically.
Right? So the shootings in the church by that, I don't remember the name of the dude. The
Yeah,
shooting
no,
of the,
I know what kid you're talking about. That
yeah,
kid's a sicko.
yeah, but he's a white nationalist. He's a white supremacist.
And you think that he went into that church and shot those people because of Trump?
No, no, no. Trump can influence that kind of behavior to be more rapid and more pervasive. The instances of recruitment amongst groups like the Proud Boys have increased as well.
I mean, that's the Proud Boys is created by the Fed
What makes you say they're created by the Fed?
because they infiltrated all the groups like that. They're creating false flags to push their narrative.
What makes you think it's a false flag? Is there any proof that it's a false flag? That's what I'm asking for. Can you show me the proof?
No, I couldn't link you definitive proof.
Okay, so if you can't link me definitive proof, what makes you believe that that is the case?
It's just my personal belief.
Can you tell me what your personal belief is built off of?
That the CIA, the FBI have been creating false flags for years to push their narratives.
Is the false flag
What is
in
the
room
narrative
with
that
you
they're
right
trying
now?
to put? What false narrative are they trying to push with?
That white people are racist. The narrative you've bought into. That Trump's racist and Trump's pushing white people towards fascism and white nationalism. All the shit you're saying. All your talking points.
So then why are you shitting on the people that are actively in Antifa burning shit down? Those are all feds.
All of Antifa are feds? Is that what you said?
Nope. All of the Antifa people that are burning shit down are feds.
Why do you say that?
Well, because I don't believe that there's actual Antifa people or BLM people doing that. I think it's just the Fed trying to push their agenda.
Yeah, that could be. I feel like they get payouts from people and globalists like George Soros to do his bidding.
And like there's conservative groups on the right that get money from the Koch brothers. It's all coming together.
Yes, they're very evil. The Koch brothers are very evil. I agree with you there.
Okay, so then like we're in agreement that everybody who does something wrong in any political group is a Fed. And that the only people that aren't feds are the people that aren't doing anything politically wrong, right? It's just the normal, everyday, average people, right? If Antifa burns down a building, it's a Fed. You agree with that from now on, right? They're not actually Antifa. It's just an op. If
no,
BLM,
I'm not saying all of the Proud Boys and all of the oath whatever oath breakers, what are they called?
Yeah, Oath Keepers, I think.
Yeah, the Oath Keepers. Yeah, I'm not saying they're all feds. I'm saying that a lot of the higher ups and a lot of the false flag events are created by feds.
What do you mean false flag events? Are you talking about like mass shootings?
Sometimes, yeah, like with that shit that blew up in Tennessee, feds. I think the Vegas shooting was a lot up to do with feds, and there's a lot of cover-ups.
Really?
There.
Can you tell me why you think that about the Vegas shooting?
There's just too many inconsistencies in the stories and too many redacted statements, and they don't want you to know nothing about it. How did he get up there with all those guns?
We have video evidence to show that he just went back and forth from the parking lot and bringing up cases. Do you want me to link you a New York Times video on it, or is New York Times an op?
No, I won't argue that. But what about all the audio of the second shooter that they never talked about?
Hold on. Let's address point by point. You said, how did he get all the guns up there? You said that New York Times isn't an op. I can provide you a video showing
I
of
didn't
him.
mean like literally how did he get them up there, but why would they allow someone to bring that many guns into a room unnoticed?
Because it's just a person going back and forth with like cases. Like people just thought somebody had like a lot of bags or weren't really thinking about it. Like, for instance, let's imagine you or somebody at a receptionist desk or what have you. Maybe it's a semi-busy day. Maybe it's even a bit of a calm day. And somebody goes back and forth with a bunch of bags. Something like this has never happened in the area. And so you're not really super worried about it. And especially, you're not paid enough to worry about it, right? You're like a minimum wage worker. The fuck do you care, right? It's not your job to try and inspect everybody's shit. And in fact, when a lot of people do that, they either get fired, reprimanded, or like eaten out by or chewed out by a customer, right? Like a customer saying, why the fuck are you questioning me? I'm just, got a lot of bags. So they're not paid enough to have to deal with that. Maybe that's security's fucking issue or some shit like that, it is what it is. That's not their job. And then they just let the person bring up all the bags.
Yeah, you do have a point there, and I won't even get into it too much because I don't know as many of the facts as I used to because it's been memory hold since then. But I remember when it happened and a lot of the details were coming out. It just seemed really fishy.
Okay. If something seems really fishy or what have you, does that mean then that the feds did it? Or do you think?
Yes, I think they had something to do with it, and they're not telling us the whole truth about it.
Okay. In your mind, what did the feds do specifically?
They didn't tell us the real reason it happened and the truth about this guy.
Okay.
January 6th, another false flag. Back to that point.
Wow, how could you say there was like a fuck ton of people there? How could you say it was a false flag?
Because the feds were the ones that were saying break into the building and all that shit, instigating it. Because
where do you have the proof of that?
There's tons of video proof of it. Just like you say, you can't lump all
Antifa
together. You can't lump all the January 6th protesters together, and the few that did break into the building where the feds were involved.
Can you prove that for me?
I mean, you can't prove any of this. It's still being investigated right now. And
why do you believe something with no evidence?
There is evidence of it. I mean, but
okay, what is the evidence? Is what I'm asking for.
There's videos online of it.
Videos online of what specifically?
But I'm not saying these videos online are definitive proof. It's just my belief.
Videos online of what specifically?
Of feds that they've used and other false flags that were there instigating the situation.
Okay, can you point me to one?
Point you to what? One video?
One fed. Because the only like government officials or political pundits that I've seen on there are conservative political pundits that like people actively like watch. Unless you want to call are all of them feds? Like the members of Proud Boys and shit like that have been pretty outspoken, and some of them having online platforms and shit like that showing up in there. People with YouTube channels, conservative YouTube channels. Are they all ops?
I mean, I'm just a guy on the internet. I can't point out everyone who's an op.
Sure, I'm just asking for one. I'm asking for one federal agent that you found inside of the audience.
Yeah. There's videos of guys they've used in multiple false flags, and you see them in videos January 6th instigating the situation, like I just said.
Yeah. Okay. Can you point me?
I'm not going to sit here and do all the digging right now and stuff.
Okay. So then you just don't have one right now, but you're saying that there is one.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more than one, but yeah, I've seen videos and pictures of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I love the chat.
Well, actually, genuinely, I think there's probably a higher likelihood that's the case, like than anything else. But what if I said Kyle Rittenhouse was a Fed?
Too young, man.
No, they get him young, dude. You never know, dude. The Fed training program starts pretty young, man. I hear it starts at like 15. White. Too white to be a Fed? Aren't most Feds white?
Not anymore.
Since when?
Diversity hires.
Is this a meme? Okay, I'm assuming that was a joke. No, it's like, yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse was a Fed, man. Trying to sow political divisiveness, trying to make people believe that he was a hero.
You're just mocking me?
No, I'm not.
So you believe he was a Fed?
Why was there FBI drone footage above him? Why was the FBI
that's
drone
footage? That's a good
question.
question.
Right.
I do think
it's probably because they were. It's probably because they were monitoring it because he was a Fed.
Well, if they were actually monitoring him, it might have been more over him. But I do think that
he was in a lot of those shots. We got a fair amount of footage of him. He was clearly a Fed.
Yeah, but I'm speaking more specifically of just the drone footage.
Yeah, the drone footage.
All the other footage was personal.
Well, no, the drone footage, you could see him in some of the drone footage. Have you not seen all of it?
I've seen everything that was above the Rosenbaum shooting, both the high def that was released the Friday before, and then the thermal they were using in the court before that.
Yeah, and in that drone footage, you can see see some of the events unfolding. It's pretty weird that they had that shit going on, centered even around him. I'm thinking he was probably a Fed.
There. I don't think it was focusing on Kyle. They just happened to catch it. But I do think there was a Fed.
Isn't that what Feds would want you to do, to keep his identity
a little bit?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what Feds are known for. No, that's why you can't find definitive evidence of any of these other Fed events happening. No, they don't make it easy for you.
Tommy Strong's got a good point. You really think a normal 17-year-old would have that much discipline when surrounded by BML riders? Kyle definitely has training.
Yeah. Probably federal training. Probably trained out of a facility for so long. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the shots when he was on the ground with Gross Arm, that was pretty quick.
Yeah. So, listen.
So what was your whole argument in getting me in here? You think Kyle's a bad person?
No, I think Kyle's a Fed. I just wanted to see that if you would possibly be open to my argument.
That Kyle's a Fed?
Yes, Kyle is a Fed. He's a federal agent. He's an op.
Like he was planted in there?
Yeah.
Like he was a Terminator sent back in time to terminate Antifa and BML?
I don't know why you're memeing on me, man. I'm just making a simple argument.
Because you're memeing on me. You didn't even start the argument that he was a Fed until way after.
I wanted to see if you would be. I wanted to see if you'd be open to the argument, man.
Yeah, I'm open to it. We're talking about it.
Yeah. So Kyle Rittenhouse is a Fed.
I don't think so.
You sure about that?
I mean, no, I'm not sure about anything now in today's day and age, but my personal belief says no, he's not.
Interesting. So when you have somebody who proclaims to be a conservative, who's like doing these, or even alt-right or what have you, doing these heinous acts, they're all like ops, but when you have a conservative doing something that you consider to be righteous, they're not an op. It's kind of sus, man. I hear that's the strategy, though. That federals.
Well, it's because he's a 17-year-old kid, and like there's history of what he was doing before that. He wasn't in Quantico training.
Well, wait. Do you know that?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because there's a timeline of what he was doing before that.
Really? And you trust that timeline? But you don't trust the timeline given for the Vegas shooter?
Hey, I don't trust anything nowadays, but that's my.
But you trust Kyle Rittenhouse's timeline?
Yeah, I trust the documentation of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you trust the Vegas shooter's timeline?
Because they're not letting us know as many facts about it, and there's not as much coverage, and everything's redacted. With the Kyle Rittenhouse, there's video footage of everything. There's documentation of a lot more than the Vegas shooting.
There's a lot more documentation than the Vegas shooting? In what way?
A lot more social media, a lot more information about his schooling.
I mean, the person didn't use much social media. That's just the cut and dry of it.
There's a lot more information about he was a lifeguard, he was a fire cadet, he was a police cadet.
You have the background of the Vegas shooter? Now you don't have
he was a lot older, but on the events leading up, a lot of it's redacted. If you go back and look, they won't let you see a lot of it.
Yeah, some of it might have.
I don't know if you've actually looked that up or not.
So I have looked up some of it, and I don't know where you're getting these paragraphs of redacted shit. Maybe I need to re-look over it. Maybe you're right. Maybe my memory is failing me, what have you. But there was quite a bit of information. So what you're saying is, if Kyle was 18, then would you be convinced he could be an op?
I mean, like I said, I'm not ruling it out. It's just my personal belief that he was not.
Okay.
I think he's just a good kid out there trying to do the right thing, and he's caught in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Okay. And that makes him a hero?
No, what makes him a hero is he's a 17-year-old kid who doesn't really need to be out there, but he's out there helping people, being a medic, stopping fires, protecting the city. Yeah, we need more people like that.
Would you recommend that 17-year-olds do that?
No, I think it's shitty that he had to be the one to go out and do that, and he was so outnumbered. We need more adults to go do it.
Do you think he had to be out there and doing that?
Do I think he had to be out there doing that?
Yep.
No.
Okay. So what specifically makes him a hero? Is it just the putting out fires and shit like that and mixing with the age?
Yeah, most kids are out there smoking pot, being fucking stupid, getting into trouble, having fun, playing video games, and this kid's very mature for his age. He already knows what he wants to do. That's why he's a fire cadet. He's a police cadet. That's why he's out there with an AR-15 protecting the city. That's why he's out there scrubbing spray paint off of a high school.
So then can I ask why you entered my chat room and said Antifa and BLM must be challenged, Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero?
Yeah, like I said when we first started talking, I should have clarified more, and I meant the Antifa and BML of that night that were destroying shit.
Even if you said that, why would you put that in conjunction with the phrase he is a hero after they must be challenged? Because the way that sounds is what it sounds like you're saying is Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero for challenging these members of Antifa and BLM.
Doing positive things doesn't make one a hero.
Wait, say that again? I was reading chat, sorry.
It sounds... You shouldn't read chat. It's the way it sounds is what you're saying is that Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero for having challenged Antifa and BML.
The two were separate statements.
They were literally one statement, but okay. If what you're saying is you want them, if you, I literally have the logs and I'm looking at them, but
there was no period in between it.
Well, they were in the same. Wait, so if I say Donald Trump must be challenged, down with white nationalism, but I put a period in between them, do you think that like people aren't right in drawing the conclusion that I'm saying that if we challenge Donald Trump, we challenge white nationalism?
No, touche. I see your point.
Okay. So, yeah, there's people rightfully saying that. I don't think Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero for doing that. I don't think 17-year-old people should be out there doing that. And I don't think it makes him
do it.
I think him doing it, I think him doing it doesn't make him a hero either. I think that puts him in harm's way. I think there's a reason why I said a regard that like older people should be doing this, and it's because younger people can be often reckless, and that's the reason why. Right? Is that
I don't think he was reckless, though, do you?
I don't necessarily think that many of the things that he's done, that I've seen at least, is reckless at all. No, I don't think he was being reckless. But you understand, if we run this logic, this will be post hoc. We could encourage 17-year-olds to go out there and do that shit. I don't think he was a hero in that I don't think that he was actively participating in an activity that I would say is condonable, right? Whether or not it happened in a more favorable or less favorable light. This would be called like post hoc rationality here, right? So like if a 2-year-old picked up a gun and killed like fucking 9 people that were all like trying to kill other people, would you call that 2-year-old a hero? I wouldn't. I would say
Damn
that
straight.
Okay, maybe this is just ultimately a disagreement. And the reason why I wouldn't call them a hero is because that 2-year-old in that circumstance, I don't believe is running with the best information possible inside of that circumstance just because it worked out well. You're looking at the outcomes of the situations, not the probability that the situation happened in the first place. And
I do see your point.
Right. And so, like, that's called post hoc rationality. Just because things worked out didn't mean they were always meant to work out. It's like a 13-year-old getting behind there was a case of a 13-year-old or some shit driving their bleeding mother to a emergency room or whatever, and they drove like perfectly, right? Even though they had no prior training, and they were fucking gassing it, and they were driving perfectly and shit like that. I wouldn't necessarily call that person a hero. You probably should have just called 911, right? I wouldn't call that person a hero because they got lucky. Ultimately, that's what happened. And I think that's ultimately what happened here in Kyle Rittenhouse's case. Clearly, he had some kind of prior training or something or what have you to be able to put him in a position where it wasn't all luck. However, I would say that like a 17-year-old is not going to reasonably be able to be in a riot environment or what have you and be able to do these things. So ultimately, I would say that he got lucky, that he didn't get caught inside of a situation he wasn't prepared for. So I wouldn't call him necessarily a hero. It's just kind of happened that he he got really lucky with the circumstances, and then he got put in a situation where he could help people inside of the crowd, do his EMT shit, or his first aid training and fight fires and shit like that. It just so happened that he was put in that position, and then later he was put inside of a position where unfortunately he had to discharge his firearm and shit like that, and thankfully he didn't mishandle that, but the probabilities of him mishandling that is incredibly high. I think we put him in that situation 5 more times, he mishandles it like 4 out of the 5. We got lucky. That's something that we got to recognize.
I agree with you that he got lucky, and I agree with you that 17-year-old kids shouldn't be the one doing that kind of stuff like he was.
Right. And
using hindsight is why I'm saying he's a hero, because we do know the outcome now.
Sure. So I don't think that that's how we should operate, generally speaking. I don't think that's how we should operate, right?
What'd you call it? Post-rationality?
It's called a post hoc rationality. It's something.
Post hoc rationality?
Yeah, it's a technical term, a philosophical term, which means essentially what it means is you look at the result of something to figure out whether or not it's a good idea. It's like if I roll a dice that has a 1 in a million chance of giving me money, and then the 900 other 99.999% of the chance is it instantly killing me.
After you know the outcome, you say it was a good choice.
And I was, wow, it was a good choice. Yeah, exactly. And so I don't think calling him a hero when he did something that was quite reckless to his own life and potentially people around him is the case. Like if he went there with like a whole group of people that were highly trained and shit like this, and I know we could talk about some of the groups that he came there with, but like a whole group organized and very specifically for there, he went there with the whole like group, and the only reason he was there was because he has medical training or what have you to specifically help people that and they couldn't find anybody else, this group couldn't find anybody else with medical training. I could say maybe there's a chance or what have you, but generally speaking, I would say that people below the age of 18 should not be put into these environments. And that goes for the protesters, I wouldn't call those people protesters, those rioters, or the or anybody showing up to defend property as well. Yeah,
I agree with you. I wish we lived in a world where none of those situations even had a chance to present themselves, and kids like him didn't need to go out there and do that.
Well, do you agree that kids like him don't need to go out there and do that? But even because, again, we talked about the likelihood that it ends this way, which is incredibly unlikely. I think me and you can both agree that we've seen some videos of grown-ass men who have been put thousands of hours on shooting ranges and shit like that handle their gun worse than Kyle Rittenhouse, which is insane. Right? Yeah. So that just shows, like, in my opinion, a level of, like, probably luck here in this. I don't think Kyle is, like, some gunslinger prodigy or what have you, but he was probably, like, he probably got pretty lucky with how he handled the situation and shit like this, and it could have been a lot worse, right?
Hey, if you have a waiver, you can join the military at 17. I did it.
Yeah, sure. And we could make arguments about, like, whether or not that should be higher, which I think me and you may agree that if you can't drink alcohol, you probably shouldn't be allowed in the military, right?
100%.
Like, yeah, exactly. And so the age should be higher. It makes no sense that I can go to war, but I can't drink alcohol. But yeah, so there
I think we had a productive conversation, and we agreed on some things, and we know each other's point of views a little better.
Okay. All right. Yeah. If you want to end it here, we can. I'm just letting you know that obviously my chat's a little bit left-leaning and shit like that, so like expect some pushback if you're going to be saying some of the things that you said to me here, but as long as you keep it somewhat tame and shit like that, don't do anything in terms of certain. It'll be fun.
I came in a little hot, guns blazing.
No, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Just just be chill, and hopefully my chat will be chill with you. So, yep.
All right, man. Well, thanks for having me in here. Let me explain myself a little bit.
Yep. All right, buddy. You have a good one.
Yep. Later.
Yep.